Hello and welcome to this session of Entrepreneurship Essentials. Our today's topic is business model generation. To be more particular, it's about business model canvas, but business model canvas is part of business model generation. This topic is going to cover defining business model and then talking about a template of business model, which is precisely business model canvas, and then we are going to give an example how business model canvas can be used to formulate business model per se. To start with, let us define what is business model. Business model, when someone tells you that I am working on a new business model or existing business model, or whenever somebody refers to a business model, what comes to your mind? So, you definitely would like to know what it is about, what is the business at the back of this business model. Then what is its strength, weaknesses, what is the possibility of making profit, which kind of customer, what kinds of complexity. So, it kinds of all pervasive about a business that start from creating an enterprise to finally making profit. So, it definitely includes the opportunities as a whole, meaning its strength, weaknesses, threats, and then what is the competition landscape, socio-political challenges, opportunities, and then commercial attractiveness, environmental challenges, techno-economic feasibilities, etc., etc. It covers everything that anybody would like to understand the attractiveness of a business proposition. As Alexander Osterwalder, who actually is a propounder of business model canvas, puts it, a business model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers and capture values, perhaps for different stakeholders. Now, there is a common confusion about business model and business plan. So, this is the definition of business model. Next slide, I am going to define business plan. So, the distinction will be so obvious. Having known business model, now business plan actually is a documentation of business model that contains the detailed plan of execution of the business model. It contains its unique strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threat, the complementary skills of the team. It contains the operational plan, it contains marketing plan, the financial projections, so as to understand its commercial or financial viability. Then it contains all other important points that makes it stands out from the crowd. So, that is what is business plan, meaning it is a document containing detailed execution of the business model. So, they are not definitely the same, but they refers to the same. So, again talking about business model, the same thing perhaps I have been telling for in every slide, every sessions. It starts from identifying a pain, then business model, then once you identify the pain, then you build all other ideas starting from a solution, then put in infrastructure, etc., etc., is the business model. Then it is about innovating new product, process, service and business, replacing outdated business models. So, Apple created a new innovative business model around iPod. They came up with iPod, and then they allowed customers to download music from iTunes stores. So, customer had a new experience. In this regard, one should understand that you can offer the same product that other competitors are offering, but you give the customer some kind of new experience, and that customer is going to like, and product becomes a winning product. Experience matters a lot. When everything is equal, just give a little bit of twist in the product so that the customer gets a new kind of experience that enamors them. You have a winning proposition. Like Skype gave us free Skype to Skype call facility, and then they have a wonderful business proposition. Similarly, Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, they have come up with a model that gives micro loan to poor people to make them empower them to become an entrepreneur or do whatever they do. Like a farmer, he or she can purchase their seeds and then plow their own land, etc., etc. So that is how they are creating their alleviating poverty and empowering people to become entrepreneur. But then these are kind of easier said than done. How do we understand, suppose we identify a pain point, and then how to understand its strengths, or whether this is really a tenable business model, meaning whether this is a nice business model to pursue, how to understand that. So for that we actually need to develop the business model in details. So for developing that, a template perhaps helps us a lot, meaning that if there is a template that will be something like a ready reckoner that tells you step by step as to what all you have to take care, so that nothing is left unattended, that would be better. Thankfully, we have at least one template available that was developed by Osterwalder, and it is known as business model canvas. Our today's discussion is around business model canvas. Osterwalder has proposed that there was 9 core blocks, meaning 9 core ideas that is to be attended to completely define a business model, and he brought these 9 items and put that in the form of blocks, and all the blocks are placed in a canvas that is called business model canvas. So what are these blocks and what are this, how the canvas looks like is the discussion today. So eventually we would like to know that any business is related to customers. Customers are there for the value provided to them through the product or service, and because we provide them value, they are ready to pay profitable price that is profitable to the company. And here is the canvas that kind of precisely does that, meaning the canvas has 2 sides. On our right is the value that a company would like to provide to a customer. So the right hand side is all about customer, about the value that is to be given to the customer or will be appreciated by the customer. Then how you kind of make the customer aware about the value proposition that you have, and then how do you reach the value to the customer, and then how do you acquire customer, how do you kind of grow customer base and then retain them, etc., etc., all on the right hand side, including at the bottom of the right hand side part is the revenue model. That means how, when you give the value to the customer would give you the price, and that should create profit for us. So bottom is the finance or revenue model. On the left is the value creation process, the resources that go into producing the value proposition, and the heart of the thing is the value proposition. The heart of the thing that you see, the 2 lines, is the block where you have the value proposition. So value proposition on your right is the customer whom you give the value, on your left how you create the value. The bottom part on the left is the cost structure, meaning to create this value, what is the cost that you incur, means what are the cost items, so that you have a fair idea how to cut cost or how to make it cost effective, so that eventually when customer pays you the price, you make profit. So it starts from the center of the canvas. Incidentally, the book from where this has been taken is a book for business model generation by Alexander Osterwalder and others. We have the reference at the bottom, but then they have identified customer as the core. So they have given serial number 1 to customer segment, but majority of the internet resources I inquired, I have checked, they all put number 1 on value proposition, that is the heart of the business model canvas. Whatever that is, let us follow this process. As far as we are concerned, we are going to follow this. So, core of the business model canvas is the value proposition. Obviously, what Osterwalder points out is that unless there is a customer, what value you are thinking of. So, there has to be a customer. So, you know what his or her pain is, and then you formulate whether you can develop something that he or she will perceive to be of value. So, customer definitely is central to a business, no argument against that. So, once you identify the customer, once you identify the pain point, the customer segment is identified, then you think of the value. So, at block number 1 is the value proposition. So, you list you list serially the values that you are capable of providing and the values that your customer might be perceiving to be value for their money. So, central point is the value proposition. Now, suppose yes, the previous class we have talked about a taxi aggregator. What should be the value? The value is enormous actually. It is a wonderful example of a wonderful business model. Taxi aggregator gives enormous amount of value. It gives the convenience of getting a taxi right at the door. Then because it is done, because they have optimized the downtime of taxi, so they can offer it at a lower cost, lower price, and then once you are in the taxi, there is a navigator, so you do not have to worry about the direction. Then the taxi driver is a registered driver, so you do not have to worry about security. Then you do not have to pay cash, even if there is no cash at your pocket. If you have a digital wallet, you can pay from your wallet, so on and so forth. They can formulate many other things to entice customers to come to their fold. So, all these are part of value proposition. There may be many more. So, value proposition provides reasons to customers for them to buy your product or service. Now, point number 2, or as per Alexander Osterwalder, is number 1 actually, is the customer segment. So, if you have a business, obviously there is a customer. Without a customer, there is no business. So, which customer? So, you identify the customer first. So, once you identify the customer, then you know the pain point. So, you identify similar kind of people or people of similar kind of pain, whatever that pain is. Suppose you are thinking in terms of a taxi aggregator, then people like office goers, they hire a taxi or any other transport, public transport maybe. So, if you offer them a cheaper alternative to the standard taxi service, then obviously they are going to be your customer. So, they are your primary target audience. So, office goers make a wonderful segment. There may be many other people, may not be office goers, but many other people with the similar kind of pain, like there may be say tourist who land in airport and then they want to hire a taxi at a kind of a lower rate. At the same time, they can pay, they can trust, they can like their registered drivers, etc., etc. So, tourist may be one of the segment or part of the segment. So, there may be diversified people, but then they have a similar kind of pain. So, segmentation is a different topic altogether. We will cover that in a separate lecture, but customer segment for our discussion is of similar pain. So, once we know the pain that we are trying to alleviate, we know the customer segment, and then once we know the customer segment, it becomes easy for us to do the remaining part of our business model, decide about the remaining part of our business model. So, here is some write up about customer segment. So, we should identify actually high yield segment, where similar kind of pain and there is a huge number of people. So, we can reach out to them easily, or we can identify the logistic as to how to reach the product to them, etc., etc. That makes wonderful sense. More about segment. Distinct groups with common needs, as I said, common behaviors, common tastes, etc., etc. You can read that at leisure. Let us move forward. So, this is again another statement made by Osterwalder himself. The features of the product or services include newness, performance, customization, getting the job done, design, price, brand, etc., etc. Let us not dwell in detail. Next in the lineup is the channel. Channel means is a channel through which you communicate with the customer. Communicate in the sense, first thing is you tell them that you have a unique value proposition which is superior compared to the competitors, meaning that if customer is already buying something or taking some service from some company. So, you tell them that look, our product is superior compared to theirs in this respect, or it is cheaper or whatever. So, channel, the first thing about the channel is to reach out to the company to tell them about the value proposition. Next is to make them evaluate your product or service. So, you provide some kind of say customer review or something, so that they can see the review and then realize, wow, 5-star, that means it is a wonderful product, let us buy. Third is make it easy for them to purchase, maybe online purchase, or say it is all across the country you have retailers, etc., which is very costly, very difficult to maintain. So, you decide whether you allow customers to buy online, and then eventually how customer returns if they are not happy, or how they can exchange their old products with new products, how they are going to get the after sale service, or how you are going to troubleshoot, etc., are contained in channels. So, channels include all of them. So, after channel we have customer relationship. It is very important. You may acquire some customer by talking about them or using whatever, entice them into your fold, but then you have to retain them. Acquiring customer, retaining them, and then growing customer base are the three things that is most important for a business. That is going to guarantee that business is growing. So, retention of customer is highly related to relationship. You build a relationship, so customer will remain with you. How you are going to do that? You may offer better after sale service, you may offer some kind of loyalty points, that every time they buy they get royalty, some bonus points, and then they can use that for buying in the future, etc., So, there are many points through which you can actually build relationship. Most important among them is how you respond after they buy the product. You try to help them setting up, you try to help them whenever there is a trouble, you immediately take care of that, and then time and again you try to communicate with them. And another important thing is that you upgrade your product, tell them that new version is available. So, try to give them better value even after they buy the product, so that they become a customer throughout their life. Acquiring a customer is very costly. Sometimes it is lakhs of rupees. It is unbelievable. Even I did not believe at the beginning, but then data actually show that customer acquisition cost is very heavy. Why do people spend lakhs of rupees to acquire a customer? Because a customer keeps on buying throughout their life, throughout his or her life, and then throughout life you actually create a lot of value, that is called lifetime value of a customer. And that is how many e-commerce companies like Flipkart is incurring losses. They are burning cash in terms of thousands of crores. Still their valuation is tens of billions, something like $20 billion. Why so? Because they have a huge registered users. So, at some point of time many of these users are actually cash positive now, meaning that they are actually giving profit to Flipkart. But then they are acquiring new customers, so they are incurring lakhs of rupees for that, and in the process in total they are running on loss. So, they are burning cash, but otherwise they have a huge customer base, and maybe within couple of years or 3, 4, 5 years down the line they are going to make a lot of money, like Amazon, who were burning cash earlier, but now they are in profit. Fifth in the series is revenue model, for which the business actually is giving the value to the customer. Revenue model is nothing but the money that customer gives to the company in return or in exchange for the goods and services that you give, or the value that we give. Okay, there are two terms actually popping up on the screen. One is efficiency, another is value. So, I forgot to discuss that. The efficiency is on the left side, value is on the right side. Value means the value proposition, efficiency means you use your resources efficiently to create the value. In the process, you make a profit. So, efficient application of resources, efficient exploitation of your partners and activities to generate to make a competitive product or service, and then customer pays premium for quality, for other features. In the process, you make money. Now, revenue model includes the money that they give. Then it may include also some kind of advertisement that you may actually put it on your website or anywhere along with your product. You can promote others' product with your products, or maybe some kind of consultancy fees that you may gain, or maybe you sublet some of your infrastructure, or you do some job work and get some commission for that, or some kind of fees for that. So, all these actually are part of the revenue model. And obviously, revenue model and cost structure, that is in block number 9, the difference between the two gives the profit. So, one should understand what these models are and where you can make a slightly more revenue, how you can do it with a slightly lesser cost is going to define the profitability. So, next in the line is, after number 5 is number 6 obviously, and this is your key resources, the things that actually helps you to convert into the service or into product, like inputs, like say hardware and software, or say plant and equipment or raw material. So, you have the raw material, you have the plant and machinery to convert the raw material into finished goods. So, that you offer as value, or you kind of bundle value in your product, etc., etc. So, everything that facilitates this conversion of input to output is your resources. That may be intangible, that may be tangible. Suppose you are developing software. So, manpower or technocrats or technicians are your key resource that is helping you to convert their intellectual knowledge into product softwares. So, it may be both intangible as well as tangible. So, you can read them later. Key resources can be physical, financial. In financial, maybe suppose you are a finance company, a fintech company for that matter, or it can be intellectual, like consultancy. Say for any consultancy firm, they give consultancy. It can be manpower, it can be even there are contract companies in US, but and there is even in India also there are contract companies who keep people in their payroll, and then they engage them or deploy them in other organization on a monthly basis or hourly basis. They get money out of that, like security for example. Even in software industries, these technicians or technocrats, they are all on the bench, and then sometimes they are in the field. So, whenever they are on the bench, they earn nothing. Whenever they are in the field, they earn money. 7th in the list is the key activities, that is whatever you do. Suppose you produce something, suppose you make software, suppose you do consulting. So, processing everything into finished goods is your activity, the resources that helps you to do the activities. So, whatever your resources are doing to convert your input into output is the key activities. Suppose for a bank, the key activities is to collect money and then give loans to the process loan application and give loan and then recovery and then give customer services, etc., etc. For a taxi aggregator, it is a plethora of jobs like maintaining a fleet of taxis under them, registered under them, and then maintaining customer request, then managing logistic, managing portal, database, loyalty points, etc., etc. So, whole lot of things are under activities. So, here they are. Then number 8 is key partners. Key partners actually facilitates you to create this value proposition, meaning that you need resources, you need activities, you need to cut costs, so you need money, so cheaper money. So, the partners actually provide some of them. Suppose you need money for maintaining wallet, or you get money in the wallet and you want to put that for a profitable proposition. So, bank is a partner. Suppose for this car aggregator company, you need data, need to maintain database, you cannot maintain server. So, you have to hire a server in the cloud, you need a web portal, you need what not, you need software maintenance. So, everything, you cannot do everything. So, you need partners, software companies, you need web hosting companies, you need data server companies, you need a banker who will manage your money, then you need software for navigation. So, you cannot actually maintain all of them as a standalone company. So, these are your partners who helps you. Why are they partners? Because unless you have a relationship with them, your cost structure will go high. If you have a relationship, you can actually leverage on that relationship, and then everything comes at a low cost, number one. Number two, you become their favored or preferred customer. So, they take care of troubleshooting whenever you are doing business. Otherwise, if you are not preferred, then you are at the lower level in their priority. So, that is definitely not something that is you prefer. Sorry. So, here is some points about key partners, same thing as I mentioned. Then the last one is the cost structure, last but not the least, because cost actually will determine how much cash you are burning. Your cost is more than your revenue, you are gone, or at least for the time being, it is not a good proposition. But then moving forward, if you can show that moving forward your revenue is increasing at a faster clip than your cost, definitely there can be rosy future waiting for you. So, cost structure includes say for example salary for your staff, rent for the premises that you hire, then the commission that you pay for any kind of services that you gain, for water, for electricity, for transport, for license, for even for trade license, for whatever you pay, for GST, goods and services tax, anything that you have to pay to maintain your business and to create this value proposition, like raw material cost, like utility cost, electricity cost, everything comes under cost structure. So, once you know your cost structure well, then and your revenue structure well, you can actually sit back and estimate whether this business is going to give you profit or not. So, preparing projected financials requires a good knowledge about your cost structure and your revenue model. Now, we are at the end of the business model canvas. So, you can pretty much realize that once you have a fair idea about the business model canvas, you kind of have a bird's eye view about the entire business issues, not really entire, but then a whole lot of business issues which should be captured in a business model. There are many others, of course, and there are criticism about the business model canvas. People say that this is narrow, this does not have many other perspective, like say competition perspective is not here, like say social perspective is not here, environmental perspective is not here. So, likewise there are many points which are kind of presumed to be there, but it is not explicitly there. But then it is a holistic representation of business model. So, this it is a kind of a ready reckoner that once you have them, then you tick all the blocks that I have taken care of, all of them, you can feel slightly more comfortable. Then you think of other things. So, if you are making a presentation of in a business plan competition, or suppose you are making a presentation of your own business ideas before investors, obviously, if you take care of a business, there is a slide on your in your slide deck about business model canvas. Perhaps people are going to appreciate that you have kind of taken care of majority of the things. So, time is short, so I will not really elaborate. I have done this taxi aggregator business model canvas. I have prepared this for you. So, just go through them, pausing the slide, you can go through them and understand. These are not exhaustive, because the area was small and the texts are so heavy. So, I did not put too many text, but then they are primary points. There are other points as well. So, there are various criticism, as I said. Nothing actually, business models are so very complex and there are so many important other points. Even at the beginning of this deck, I have mentioned about definition of a business model. You can see how diversified the points are. So, it is very difficult to put that in a canvas, but then Osterwalder has done a wonderful job trying to do this. So, definitely criticisms are there, but still it is a wonderful thing. These are some of the references and not much about conclusion. So, thank you very much.